A Norwegian mountaineer has denied claims that her team stepped over a dying helper while scaling the K2 mountain as part of a world record bid. During the ascent, father of three, Muhammad Hassan, slipped from a narrow ledge. He became entangled in ropes and later died on the mountain. Two men who were climbing K2 the same day say Mr. Hassan was treated like a second-class human being. Norwegian climber Kristin Harila was ascending the mountain in Pakistan as part of her efforts to scale 14 of the world's highest peaks in just over 3 months. The climber insists her team tried to save Mr. Hassan, but conditions were too dangerous to move him. I'm really glad to say we can actually now speak to Kristin Harila. It was her team who were making that world record climb up K2. Kristin, in any other circumstances, I'd begin by congratulating you for becoming the fastest climber to scale those 14 mountains. It's just a very different experience, I imagine, for you. You'll, of course, be aware of the amount of coverage about the death of Muhammad Hassan and those images that appear to show your team stepping over him. I'm really glad we've got you here to give your account. So just tell us what happened up that mountain.
Yeah, first of all, it was a very, very tragical accident on the mountain. And we feel so sorry for Hassan and his family.
And I want to hear your account of what happened up the mountain. So, of course, we see these images. It does appear that whilst one person stays on the ground to give what appear to be chest compressions to Mr. Hassan, the rest of the team continue up the mountain. Is that what happened?
Well, not really. This was filmed in the middle of the day when it was light. We were there when he fell in the dark. It was many hours before this was filmed, and we tried for hours to save him.
So in this image that we're seeing, as you say, in the daylight, is Muhammad Hassan already dead? Is that your estimation?
I cannot answer for that. I wasn't there. We were above, and we were just behind him when he fell. And he was number 2 in this queue of people. And we saw him hanging upside down, and very early we decided we need to try to get him turned around. So we put up another ice anchor and we took another rope, and first Lama went into him and tried to turn him around, and he wasn't able to because this is a very, very narrow and very steep place, and it's very dangerous to stay there. So, and we wasn't able, so Lama came back to this trail and continue up to where the other ice anchor were, and we put another rope down. And Gabriel, our camera guy, he went again into Hassan, and then we were able to get him up to the trail. And it's not like it's very easy to get someone down from there.
Yes, and so this is, as you say, the images we don't see are the images that happened before at night time, where your team, who have been criticised for essentially leaving a man to die on the mountain, your team actually were the ones who took him by rope and brought him up to the trail, which is where we see him when we see the images that we're playing for you now on your screens. It's your cameraman, Gabriel, who was giving him the chest compressions, as I understand. No, sorry, do correct me there.
No, I think this is even later. I cannot answer for that. I wasn't there. We were above at this point. So when we got a message around 2:30 that the fixing team had problem, they were just above this place where Hassan had fallen, and we decided let's split up. And Gabriel, another Sherpa from 8K, and Hassan's friend, they stayed there to try to help him. And Gabriel gave him his oxygen, he gave him warm water, he tried for 2.5 hours, while me and Lama continued to check if the fixing team were okay. And there were avalanches there, and we got a message on the radio that they had problems.
Was Hassan part of your team?
No, Hassan wasn't a part of our team, and we didn't know him and see him before this happened. And we tried for hours to save him, and also other people behind. After we continue and Gabriel stayed, they were helping.
Yeah, yeah. And when you say we, I just really want to be clear on this. When you say we tried for hours, is that you personally, or is that Gabriel and your team members?
No, it was first me, Lama, Gabriel, another Sherpa from 8K, and Hassan's friend. And then when we split up, that was for about 1.5 hours. And after that, Gabriel stayed with this guy from 8K and Hassan's friend for 1 hour more.
So I think that's important for people who criticise you. You know, your first thought was not for the world record, it seems. Your first thought was for him. Then when it became clear, I imagine, in fact, let's hear it from you. There is a moment, I imagine, after 1.5 hours where you have to make a decision. Do you all stay, or is there nothing more that the whole team can do? At what point did you decide that it was time for some of you to move on, and why?
Yeah, the main reason for that was that we got this message on the radio that the fixing team had problems. So we had to make a decision to split up. And on this place, it's a very, very narrow trail. And it's impossible to be like 10 people to help around there, because it's only room for one behind and one in front. And we decided to split up, so we were sure that he still was getting help.
Yeah. What is the risk for you? Your team would have been at standstill for this 1.5 hours. What is the personal risk that you're all taking at those temperatures, at that altitude?
This is probably the most dangerous part of K2, and K2 is probably the most dangerous mountain of all the 8,000 meters. We know it's very risky to stay there, but we had to try to save him.
Yeah, OK. There are some... I appreciate that Muhammad Hassan was not part of your team, and so you may not have had much contact with him previously. There are some who have commented that he may not have been properly equipped. Did you get the sense, when you saw him close up, that he had the right training and the right equipment?
Well, the training I can't answer for, but when we went into him and tried to turn him around, he had just a jacket, not a down suit, and he didn't have gloves. Maybe he lost them, and he didn't have oxygen. We didn't see any sign of either a mask or oxygen tank.
OK, and would it be normal for anyone at that point to have an oxygen mask, regardless of whether they're very used to climbing that mountain?
Well, some climb this without oxygen. And what's normal, when I have done it, my Sherpa have an extra bottle and a mask. We didn't have an extra to share with him. So when he got oxygen from Gabriel, he took off his own to give him some, to try to see if there was any chance to save him that way.
Yeah. It's been an extraordinary time for you. What have you made of the sort of storm that you found yourself in?
Well, at first, it's just like very, very tragical that this happened. And we feel so sorry for him and his kids and his wife and his family. OK. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful to you for having taken the time to talk to us, for having given us your version of those events. It's really important that we could hear from you, who was up there, what happened. Kristin Harila, and of course, congratulations on your world record, but of course, within tragic circumstances. So thank you for taking the time. Thank you so much.